And so our runners are off. Beginning section here, we have no dash, so we're going to be doing short hops to save some frames. Then a little bird is going to whisper in our ear that, hey, you can dash. So, swiftly moving on to chapter 1. So, coming into chapter 1, we're going to be doing some movement to get past some of the mechanics of the stage. Chocolatecake just did a wall bounce, preserving his speed from a dash upward and jumping off the wall, allowing him to get around that rock to get past that level pretty quickly. You'll see our runners be doing various amounts of movements, such as hypers, which are holding down and a direction on a control stick or D-pad, and then dashing, then jumping will give us a hyper. The runners will be using hypers throughout the run to gain speed, and if done correctly, can be chained to maintain and actually gain speed. So, Maya done with chapter 1, and Chocolatecake is not far behind. Oh, takes a death, fortunately. So Maya's moving into chapter 2. Chapter 2 is where we are introduced to the main antagonist and mechanics, dream blocks. The black boxes with the stars in them are dream blocks. They become active when one of our runners reaches this mirror, skips this cutscene, and then brings us into a dream state, which activates the dream blocks. So when you dash into a dream block, you maintain the direction that you dash into it and throughout the entire block, and then you regain your dash coming out of the block, so you can chain multiple blocks together and multiple dashes into blocks. Maya getting the skip there, instead of going around, you can go through that corner. I believe it's 3 pixels. Getting it first try, very nice. Chocolatecake coming out of his mirror location and proceeding to his first set of levels. On Maya's screen, we'll see Battlein chasing him through the level. The Battleins start 3 seconds after you enter a level, and then will chase you wherever you go, mirroring every move. Very nice ultra coming out of Maya right there. Quickly clears that section. So, as you can see, the chaining of hypers is what Maya just did. Really gives you some speed. So now they are going to go through the same level that they just went. They went through just the top portion of it to go to where the dream ended, thus ending chapter 2. Chocolatecake entering the 5 Battlein, 5 or 6. I don't know. I can't count. But this room can definitely trip people up on their first playthrough of this game. They basically give you almost no time to react to the number of Battleins following you. So swiftly into chapter 3, the run really starts right here. We see the gusts dust mites. Here, the dust also can be counted as spikes on the wall and on the ground, and then the enemies that you see revolving are on a cycle, depending on when you enter the level or when you die. Both cycles from when you enter and when you die change. So you need to know both cycles in case you take a death. Choco getting straight through chapter 2, getting into chapter 3 now. Very nice hypers coming out. Ooh, missing the last switch there on Maya's screen there. Alright, gets their key, and now moving on. Choco now entering the hotel. So Maya is now in the big mess sequence where there is a number of levels, areas within the big mess that we have to travel through to clean up this big mess in order to get that key in the middle. The runners will go in a specific order of rooms because the exits of those segments will put us the closest to guy, can't remember his name. Horseshoe, I don't know. I'll have to look it up. But nonetheless, it'll put us out right there, and then we can just talk to him, activate another location, and then continue until we finish all 3. And then we'll be able to get the key and move on. So you also notice there's a little feelers on the walls. Those are locations where if you step on them and then either wait on them too long or you walk away from them, it'll trigger dust to form there, and you will no longer be able to step there until you either die or you leave the room. Or Oshiro, thank you. It's been a long day. I'm casting for the past couple hours. Everything's running together. I'm seeing red. Choco getting into his big mess right now. Maya finishing part 3. You collect their key and move on. This elevator climb can be very tricky. The cycles that the dust is on can be pretty unforgiving. Luckily, Maya can easily maneuver through it. Very nice wave dash coming out of that room. Choco going for the spike jump, gets it the first try. Very nice. Getting his, I believe that's his first. Yep. Very nice hypers coming out of Maya right there to optimize that room. Very clean movement. Looks like Maya is not having no trouble with chapter 3. About to go on to the Oshiro boss fight. Whenever you screen transition, after a certain amount of time, Oshiro will appear, and then the lightning signifies when he's about to attack. You can either dodge it, or you can jump on his head, and basically just resetting his cycle. If you, just like that, if you jump on his head, you get your dash back, and you can get some height if you need it, so you can bait him into a location if you need to, and do whatever you need to. Alright, coming up on this last room. Choco, a little bit of trouble getting through that room, manages to do it. He's making his way to his, I believe his second switch. Maya finishes chapter 3, gonna move on to chapter 4. It's a pretty amazing pace. Alright, so Choco's actually finished his third one. Gonna collect his key and move on. Ooh, falls down there. It's unfortunate. Usually you just land on the block there with a hyper from the key and get a jump up there. So chapter 4 introduces green bubbles that you can jump into, and you choose a direction and it'll send you a short distance in that direction, also allowing you to recover your dash. You'll also see clouds that they can jump on. The clouds can also refresh your dash, so you'll see Maya right there just doing a dash jump from a cloud to yeah, didn't have a dash right there, so it really couldn't do anything. Taking the death. Dashing on a cloud, and when you dash on the cloud, you get your jump back because it counts as landing on the ground. But it also gives you extra height because it goes down. It's like a trampoline. Very clean movement. Maya right there. Execution is on point. Choco finishing up his last room before he talks to Oshiro again. About to start his fight. So the wind, excuse me, the wind that you see on Maya's screen can either push you away from where you want to go, making it harder to progress, or it can push you towards the direction you're trying to go. Always the same direction on each stage, so you always know how it's going to go, and it doesn't change. So runners can take advantage of the wind that's pushing them, and if it's pushing them away from where they want to go, then they have to wait, make use of their dashes. Keeping that bubble, gets a nice wall bounce there. And Choco on the last portion here of Oshiro. Ooh, just dodges. Very nice. He's got to be very careful towards this end though, because a death on the end is very bad. But he gets it. He does take his time, and that's a good idea. So he's through chapter 3, moving on to chapter 4. Both of our runners putting on a clinic right now of movement. So here's an example of the wind that's pushing you where you want to go. So you just put you right there. It's really quick. Go zoom zoom. So chapter 4 is completed. Moving on to chapter 5, the temple. So this level casually can be pretty frustrating, and not casually it can be very frustrating. So either way, you can get frustrated because of the movement and other various things that you just don't have control over. Maya entering the temple, gonna go for this skip right here, gets it first try, very nice. Their key, dash out of the bubble, then go towards the first lock, getting us deeper into the temple. Choco making their way in chapter 4. One for the spike jump wall bounce, but didn't get it, so instead of wasting time trying to get it, he just went for the normal strat. Maya not going for the double bubble skip. I would be pretty shocked if I had to see somebody do it in a race, as it's a pretty difficult jump skip. It requires a corner jump or a corner skip and pretty good movement. Not very race safe. Okay, so Maya starting their Seeker section of Chapter 5. Seekers are the enemy in Chapter 5 that will be tracking Madeline as she moves around the level, and whenever a Seeker sees Madeline, it will try to go towards her, and when it can't see her, it'll try to maneuver so it can, and so it can dash towards her. You're going to be seeing the runners manipulate the Seekers to hit switches for them, and that will allow them to basically just ignore that switch entirely and see through the level quickly. Choco's progressing through their chapter 4. And the second of 3 portions of the chapter 5. They're coming up on a rather significant skip, which we call the search skip. It gives about 3 minutes. The single biggest skip in the game. Gets it first try. That was really impressive. Barely took any time to set up. For a newbie, what do the red and blue dots on the pause screen mean? Dots. You know, I haven't really examined the pause screen enough to see red or blue dots. Oh, you're talking about the bottom. I believe that's the progress that they've made in the stage. If it's divided into 3 sections, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But I could be wrong. So Maya getting into the Theo portion of Chapter 5. While you were holding onto Theo, you are unable to dash. However, you are able to throw Theo, then dash, then grab him again, thus maintaining your speed. You're seeing Maya just use this to their advantage. Very good control over Theo. Very good zip right there. Don't leave him, don't leave him! Right, Choco getting into their Chapter 5. Jumping over that stone pathway is, for me, it's pretty. I freaked out by it, because if you do it incorrectly or a Seeker tries to get you, you can either fall or Theo falls and you try to save him. It just doesn't end well. Right, so Maya swiftly out of chapter 5, going into chapter 6, the reflection. We're gonna see if they decide to go for a skip here. So, as you can see, the new mechanic, or a new mechanic added to chapter 6, is the feather or leaf. Puts you in a state of you can go in any direction, upward, downward, left, right, without having to like expend a dash or anything. From there, you will use an analog stick to try to do the movement, because if you move in the feather state and anything greater than 13 degrees, you move at a slower pace. So runners will most often transition from a D-pad to an analog stick just for the feathers. Someone in chat referencing the skip that I was talking about. Unfortunately, they didn't go for it, so I'm not going to bring it up or talk about it. So Choco starting his secret portion. Speed coming in at Maya right there. Whoa, 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 whoa. Kevin blocks are probably the funniest thing in this game. Opts to go for the bumper. I don't know if that was for safety or if that's just the strat. So Theo making his way through the nightmare portion of the chapter 5. Gets to the first secret portion. Choco getting the secret to activate the switch for him. Surely not going to get that one. The room that Choco's in right now is definitely one of the harder rooms of chapter 5. If you get killed by a seeker when you have almost all the switches done, you lose a pretty significant amount of time. But he makes it through that room no problem. This room as well is pretty big. Same thing, if you die after you get so far into the room, it's just a huge time loss. Maya just now gonna start start making their way towards battling. Choco getting search skip first try, very nice. Maya gonna go for a boost here. Oh, went too early. Still goes for it. Doesn't have enough speed to do the bunny hops required, but it was still a pretty good attempt. Got some speed out of it. So now we are going to be fighting Madeline's other half, basically her fear incarnate. It's what came out of chapter 2. You are fighting Madeline because you are trying to climb the mountain, and Madeline just doesn't want you to go to the top of the mountain. So now you try to convince your other half to aid you because you fell all the way from the top of the mountain down. So avoids that seeker. Oh man, thirsty, wants the blood, and kills it. And some dashes, there's Theo, and we're out of that room. Most of the stuff you're gonna see on Maya's screen is gonna be just a bunch of hypers or wave dashes into just colliding with Battlein. Just barely missed. Collides with Theo though. Mayantic. I was told to just call her M-A-Y-A, so I'm just gonna go with Maya. Yeah, I don't know. 2:30 a.m. Tired. So Maya's is on the second half of this fight. When you finish the first part, Battlein will have a brief conversation, being like, "Why are you doing this?" Blah blah blah, and then you're just like, "All right, well, here we go again." And then on top of the stuff from Phase 1, Phase 2 introduces moving blocks that are triggered to move when you get a certain distance into a level. That's when their cycle starts. Maya getting done with their fight, gonna level up, gonna gain another dash. And Choco gets out of Chapter 5, gonna move into Chapter 6. Alright, so all that's left for Maya is to do the summit. It is a rather long level. It takes a significant amount of time for Choco actually going here for the Blake skip. Yeah, if he can get it. He gets it. Very nice. So the summit is a combination of all of the previous chapters broken down into segments. The first segment is Chapter 6's mechanics, followed by Chapters 1 through 5 afterward. So as we're moving through the summit, we're gonna be jumping off of Battlein, who has decided to join us on our reclimb of the mountain. And every time she throws us up, we have a conversation with her about how she feels going and how Battlein is scared and all this lore. Towards the end, you are basically in total solitude with each other. Actually a really cool story. I highly recommend getting this game. So Choco working his way through Chapter 6, almost to the Battlein fight himself. Clearing 500 meters going up to 1,000. This is Chapter 2's mechanics. Reintroduce the dream block. I think dream blocks are just so cool. They just allow for such unique types of movement. So you can do different types of strats through them, as long as you don't hit a wall. So you can also come out of a dream block doing a hyper, which would give us an ultra, which is when you hyper and then you do a diagonal dash downward. Gives us additional speed that we can't achieve with just a hyper. But coming out of a Dream Block, you can actually get the speed of an Ultra. So far, the movement from Maya is just super clean. Like, this is the type of movement I would expect from someone with their PB. Very crisp. Pretty much every movement they make is with purpose. Choco not getting that skip entirely. He gets it that time. So Choco making his way down. After he gets down here, I believe the battle and fight starts. After you cross this. Maya now in the chapter 4 portion of Summit. I don't know. Choco beginning his battle and fight. Nice spike jump there. Pace by is really good. I would expect this to be sub 30, sub 36, 35. Really good. Alright, 2,500 meters, reintroduce Chapter 5 mechanics, red bubbles, the dash platforms, moving platforms. Ooh, very nice wave dash off of that to gain that speed. Ooh, so take a retread, didn't have enough dash. There we go. Gets to that room. Goes for key skip, gets it. Does a retry to grabbing the bubble just for swag. Choco making his way through his, still making his way through the battle and fight. Going safe strats. Ooh, Choco gets sniped. Door skip? Nope, no door skip. The meme is dead. Years, centuries wasted. Maya coming out of 2,500 going into the flag portion. There are 30 flags in the last portion of the summit. They go from 32 at the very top, and times will stop. In-game time will stop when she hits the peak. Ellen just not being nice to Choco right now. swiftly moving through these flags. Very good movement, wow. Ooh. You're not getting lucky with the feather right there. He's almost done with the battle and fight. One, two, three. Ding dong. Hey, so alright, Choco collects his level up. Gonna be moving towards the exit of chapter 6. Then he will proceed to his climb of the summit. I only a handful of flags left. This is insane. Doesn't grab that flag. It's okay, because the screen transition is the respawn point if you don't grab that flag. No spoilers, don't do it. Making the way up. Flag 1. All we have to do is touch the peak. Is this gonna sub 33? Wow, that is insane. 3355. GG, that was incredible. You are welcome to join me in the commentary channel if you would like an interview. Also, congrats on your PB. Very good stuff. Okay, Choco making his way through 500 meters. A couple more rims now for Choco to finish his 500 meters. And with that, moving on to 1,000 meters. Ooh. It's not a too costly death for Choco right there. It's towards the beginning of the level, so not too bad. Gonna do the battle and tosses, and then we're moving on to 1500. The worst part of the summit, in my opinion. It looks like Maya has opted to forgo the interview. It's alright though. And maybe Choco will give us an interview. If not, that's alright. I'm about ready for Betty Bye. So this is something I had to finish. So Choco making his way through 1500. Pretty solid so far. No deaths, I don't think. By the way, that's a dog. Good luck on seeing that. Alright, 1500 is done, moving on to 2000. Almost gets that. You use the screen transition to get dashes back. Grab the strawberry and clutch. So now we gotta deal with the wind and the snowballs here. We could skip right there. Very clean movement. Ooh, I don't know. Okay, he saves it. Goes with the spike jump, very nice. The wind just ending right there to prevent him from being able to just jump through the end right there. Ooh, just falls slightly too early. I don't know if he just ran out of stamina or what happened. Gets through that. I believe Choco is indeed on PB pace. PB is a 48:13 on speedrun.com. So it depends on how good he is at the 30 flags. Oh, he did. Yeah, he did PB earlier, I believe. Getting key skip. Alright, safe strats here. Going for door skip. Yep, it's one. Try maybe? Yep, he gets it. Very nice. First try. Run validated. Millions of hours saved. Ooh, ran out of stamina there, I believe. Coming up on the tail end on the 2500. Now all that's left is the summit, and if speedrun.com is correct on his PB, he has just under 6 minutes to finish the 30 flags in order to PB. I do recall him saying something about him getting a PB in one of his races earlier, so I could still be incorrect in that the leaderboard is not up to date yet. That's alright. Ball bounce. Ooh, this input right there on the dash. Not too bad of a death. It's still looking like he can possibly PB, but he is very limited on the number of mistakes that he can make. Now we're dealing with the updraft. Oh, we're taking death on spikes. That's a harsh death. Almost there. I think he has less than 10 flags left. I believe this will be the 10th flag. This is 9. And past those spikes. Now we're on 8. There's a few more flags left for Choco, and all is correct. He is possible still, but he is almost unable to. Gotta hurry up. Right, Chaku finishes with a 47-52. GG's. I am joined by Chaco for an interview. So, how do you feel about the run? Chaco, you there, bud? Got this. Over there, Chaco. I hear game sound when you cue your microphone. GG's to both runners. Fantastic runs, both by Maya and Chaco. Possible Chaco PB. I don't know what his previous PB was in his last races. If you enjoyed that race, you should take the time and go give these runners a follow. And if you enjoyed my commentary, I would very much appreciate if you dropped me one as well. Still waiting to see if Chaco is able to get his microphone fixed for this interview. So Chaco, if you haven't hit done yet in the race channel, you could probably do that. It looks like Chaco's unable to get it to work, so we're gonna forego interviews. Thank you for watching this race. It was a pleasure to commentate. Congrats to Maya as well for getting the new PB and the win. Chaco also had a decent run, so yeah. I don't think there's anything coming up on the schedule for speed gaming. I believe it's done for the night. But things that you should be aware of are races tomorrow for the Celeste Tournament. The first match starts at 1 p.m. and it is Malix versus Black Pair on Speed Gaming 1 right here on this channel. So go ahead and drop this channel a follow if you're interested in watching more Celeste gameplay. And that'll about do it for me. Again, appreciate everybody watching the channel and supporting our runners. And everybody have a good night.